You're not good enough to be at my engagement party. You'll embarrass us all. I'm Tara Cooper, and those words came from my own sister Jessica, right in front of 20 relatives at our parents' house. She stood there in her designer dress, diamond ring catching the light, explaining how her fiancé's wealthy family wouldn't understand my unstable freelancer lifestyle. What happened next at that engagement party shocked everyone, including her fiancé, who walked out permanently. But I'm getting ahead of myself. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Let me tell you how one trip to Hawaii changed everything. It started 3 weeks ago at our parents' house in Connecticut. Mom had invited everyone for Sunday dinner, her way of bringing the family together before Jessica's big engagement party. The dining room smelled like pot roast and fresh bread, normally my favorite combination, but something felt off from the moment I walked in. Jessica was already holding court, her perfectly manicured nails gesturing as she described the upcoming celebration. "The Ritz-Carlton ballroom is absolutely stunning," she gushed to our aunts. "Marcus's family has connections everywhere. Did I mention his father owns 3 companies?" I sat quietly, working on my salad, listening to her go on about ice sculptures and string quartets. Our cousin Beth asked, "That must be costing a fortune." "The Wellingtons don't do anything small," Jessica replied, her eyes briefly flicking toward me. "They're used to a certain standard." That look. I'd seen it before. Whenever she talked about Marcus's family, she'd glance at me with this worried expression, like I was a stain she needed to hide. "Tara designed the most beautiful wedding invitations," Mom offered, trying to include me in the conversation. "Show them the mock-ups you made." "Those were just practice, Mom," I said softly. Jessica had already hired a premium stationer, someone the Wellingtons had recommended. As dinner continued, Jessica kept steering the conversation toward the party details. 200 guests, champagne flown in from France, a 7-piece band. With each detail, she'd look at me again, that same anxious glance. Our Aunt Margaret finally asked the obvious question. "Tara, what are you wearing to the party?" Before I could answer, Jessica's fork clattered against her plate. "Actually, Aunt Margaret, I need to talk to Tara about that, privately." The room went silent. 20 pairs of eyes watched as Jessica stood up, smoothing her dress. "Tara? Kitchen? Now?" The kitchen still had dishes from Mom's cooking, steam rising from the sink. Jessica closed the door behind us, but not enough. I could see our mother hovering in the hallway, pretending to straighten picture frames. "I need to tell you something," Jessica began, not meeting my eyes. "About the engagement party." "What about it?" I kept my voice level, though my stomach was already dropping. "You can't come." The words hung between us like a physical barrier. Through the door crack, I saw Mom freeze mid-reach toward a frame. "I'm sorry, what?" Jessica finally looked at me, her expression a mixture of defiance and something else. Embarrassment? "It's not personal, Tara, but Marcus's family, they wouldn't understand your lifestyle." "My lifestyle?" "You're a freelancer. You work from coffee shops. You don't have a real job, no steady income, no—" "I pay my bills, Jessica." "That's not the point." Her voice rose, and I heard shuffling in the dining room. Everyone was listening now. "The Wellingtons are expecting a certain caliber of people, partners at law firms, executives, people with substance. What would I say when they ask what you do? That you make logos on your laptop?" The silence from the dining room was deafening. Not one person came to my defense. "I already told them you're busy that weekend," Jessica continued, gaining confidence from the lack of opposition. "I said you're between jobs, looking for something stable." They understood completely. "You told them I'm unemployed?" "It's easier than explaining that you choose to live like a college student at 28. She straightened her shoulders. "This is my moment, Tara. My one chance to join their world. I can't have you there in your Target dress making small talk about font choices. I just can't." I stood there for a moment, feeling 20 pairs of eyes on us through the cracked door. The old me would have argued, would have listed my clients, my income, my achievements. But looking at Jessica's face, so certain she was doing the right thing, I realized something. She'd already made up her mind. This wasn't a discussion. I understand, I said quietly. Jessica blinked, clearly expecting a fight. You do? You're right, Jessica. I don't belong there. Relief flooded her features so quickly it was almost insulting. Behind her, Mom finally pushed open the door, her face flushed. Tara, sweetheart, let's talk about this. It's fine, Mom. I moved past them both, heading back to the dining room where everyone sat frozen, forks suspended midair. I should go. I have a deadline tomorrow. Tara, please. Mom followed me as I grabbed my bag. This is just a misunderstanding. Jessica, tell her. It's better this way, Jessica said from the kitchen doorway. Really? I looked around the room at my aunts, uncles, cousins, people who'd known me since birth. Not one of them spoke up. Not one said it was wrong. Their silence said everything. Enjoy your dinner, I said, pulling on my coat. And Jessica, I truly hope your party is everything you want it to be. As I reached for the door handle, my phone buzzed in my pocket. An email notification flashed across the screen from David Chen, CEO of Tech Vision. The subject line read, Urgent, Hawaii Opportunity. I didn't check it then. I just walked out into the cool evening air, leaving behind the warm house full of people who apparently agreed I wasn't good enough. It wasn't until I sat in my car, hands shaking slightly on the steering wheel, that I opened the email that would change everything. I sat in my Honda Civic, definitely not a Wellington-approved vehicle, and read the email 3 times before it fully registered. Dear Tara, I hope this finds you well. 6 months ago, you redesigned our company's entire brand identity, and I'm not exaggerating when I say you transformed TechVision's market presence. Our user engagement has increased 300% since launching your designs. We're having our annual product launch in Honolulu next week, and I'd like you to attend as our special guest. All expenses paid, of course. But more importantly, I want to discuss a significant opportunity with you regarding your future with TechVision. Your flight would be Tuesday morning, returning the following Sunday. I know this is short notice, but some opportunities can't wait. Our head of board will be there, and they're very interested in meeting the designer behind our revolutionary rebrand. Please let me know by tonight if you can make it. My assistant will handle all arrangements immediately. Your designs didn't just meet our expectations, Tara. They redefined them. Best regards, David Chen, CEO, Tech Vision. I stared at the screen. Tuesday was 3 days away. The engagement party was Saturday. The timing felt like the universe offering me an exit ramp from my humiliation. Through my parents' living room window, I could see Jessica laughing, probably relieved I'd left without making a scene. Mom was wringing her hands, but Dad had his arm around Jessica, supportive as always of his firstborn. Another email popped up, also from Tech Vision, this one from their legal department. Confidential, NDA required for Hawaii discussion. What kind of opportunity required a non-disclosure agreement? My freelance brain immediately went to contract work, maybe a retainer agreement. But something about David's tone suggested more. I looked back at the house one more time, then typed my response. I'll be there. By the time I got home to my college student apartment, which, for the record, was a perfectly nice one-bedroom in Stamford, my phone had exploded with messages. Mom begging me to come back. Aunt Margaret saying Jessica was just stressed. Even a few cousins offering hollow sympathies without actual support. I ignored them all and opened my laptop. Within minutes, I'd accepted David's offer, and his assistant had sent flight confirmations, business class. I'd never flown business class in my life. As I started packing, I found the engagement party invitation Jessica had grudgingly given me weeks ago. Embossed gold lettering on cream cardstock, the expensive stationer's work. Marcus Wellington and Jessica Smith request the honor of your presence. I took a photo of it, then opened my laptop again. The RSVP website was still accepting responses. In the decline section, there was a small text box for regrets. I typed simply, "Previous commitment. Wishing you both the best." My phone rang. Jessica. "Tara, Mom said you're being dramatic. Look, if it means that much to you, you can come. Just maybe arrive late, after the important people have settled in?" The important people. As if I needed more confirmation of where I stood. "I already have plans that day," I said calmly. "Plans? What plans could you possibly have that's more important than your sister's engagement?" "A work trip." She actually laughed. "Right. A work trip. To where? The local Starbucks?" "Hawaii, actually." "Sure, Tara. Hawaii." Her voice dripped condescension. "Well, when you're done pretending to have a life, the offer stands. Back entrance, after 9. I hung up and continued packing. In went my laptop, my portfolio, and something else. A quiet determination I hadn't felt in years. Some opportunities, David had written, can't wait. Neither could I. Tuesday morning arrived gray and drizzly, matching the family group chat's mood. Mom had been sending prayer hands emojis all night. Jessica had moved on to posting engagement party countdown photos on Instagram. 4 days until perfection. As my Uber pulled up to take me to JFK, I decided to be the bigger person. I opened our text thread and typed, "Jessica, I wanted to let you know I'll be traveling for work this week. I'm sorry I'll miss your party, but I understand why my presence would be complicated. I wish you and Marcus all the happiness you deserve. Your sister, Tara." Her response came immediately. "Work trip, better this way. Thanks for understanding." Then, because she couldn't help herself, she added, "Maybe use this time to think about your future? Marcus knows people who might have real job openings." I screenshotted that exchange, not out of spite, but because something told me I'd want to remember this moment. The moment my own sister was so convinced of my failure that she couldn't even pretend to believe in me. Mom texted separately, "Honey, where are you really going?" "Hawaii, Mom. For work." "Uh." 3 dots. That's all she sent. Even my mother couldn't quite believe it. The driver loaded my suitcase, a battered thing I'd bought in college, definitely not Wellington-approved luggage, and I settled into the back seat. Another email from TechVision popped up. "NDA attached. Please review and sign before boarding. Exciting things ahead." As we pulled away from my building, I signed the agreement without fully reading it. Whatever they wanted to discuss required legal protection, which meant it was serious, real, more real than anything my family thought I was capable of. "Airport, miss," the driver confirmed. "Yes," I said, putting my phone on airplane mode. "I'm ready." Business class was a different world. Real glasses, not plastic. A seat that turned into a bed. The flight attendant called me Ms. Cooper, like I was someone who mattered. I opened my laptop once we reached cruising altitude, pulling up my portfolio. 6 months ago, TechVision had been using clip art and Comic Sans on their website. Now they had a cohesive brand that TechCrunch called Revolutionary Minimalism. I'd done that. Me, the unemployed sister who worked from coffee shops. Looking through my other projects, I realized something Jessica never knew. I'd been turning down work for months. My client list included 2 Fortune 500 companies and a startup that just got acquired by Google. But I'd never mentioned any of it. Why? Because Jessica never asked. She just assumed. The man next to me, wearing a Rolex that probably cost more than my annual rent, glanced at my screen. "Tech Vision rebrand? That was gorgeous work. You in marketing?" "I'm the designer." His eyebrows shot up. "No kidding? That campaign was brilliant. I'm actually flying to their launch event. You?" "Same." "You must be one of their core team then. That rebrand didn't just change their image, it changed their valuation. Word is they're about to announce something big." I smiled politely and returned to my work, but his words stuck. Changed their valuation. Meanwhile, my sister was telling people I was unemployed. The pilot announced our descent into Honolulu. Below, the Pacific sparkled impossibly blue, so different from Connecticut's gray March skies. As we banked toward the runway, my phone, still in airplane mode, showed 37 unread messages. I didn't turn it on. For the first time in my life, I was exactly where I needed to be, and my family's opinions could wait. Hawaii was calling, and apparently, so was my future. The moment I stepped off the plane, everything felt different. A driver stood at baggage claim holding an iPad with Cooper, Tech Vision VIP displayed. Not a paper sign, an iPad. Even their airport pickups were high-tech. Ms. Cooper, I'm James. Mr. Chen arranged your transportation. He took my embarrassing suitcase without a single judgmental look. The car was a Tesla, because of course it was. The Four Seasons Resort. Oahu sprawled like a paradise I'd only seen in Jessica's vacation posts. The ones where she'd caption "living my best life," while I was supposedly wasting mine. James handed my bag to the bellhop and said, "The team meeting is at 3. Mr. Chen asked that you join them at the poolside conference room." My room, suite, actually, overlooked the ocean. The welcome basket contained items worth more than my monthly grocery budget. A handwritten note from David read, "Tara, thank you for making this trip. Your work has meant more to Tech Vision than you know. Rest up, big days ahead. D." At 3, I walked into a meeting of 12 people, all wearing Tech Vision badges. David stood immediately. "Everyone, this is Tara Cooper, the designer who single-handedly transformed our company image." The room actually applauded. Me. They applauded me. "Tara isn't just here as a guest," David continued. "She's here as a special consultant for our next phase, but we'll discuss that privately tomorrow." Special consultant. The NDA suddenly made more sense. That evening, at the welcome dinner, I sat between the CFO and the head of marketing. They asked my opinions. They took notes when I talked. Nobody once asked if I had a real job. As I walked back to my suite, my phone finally reconnected to Wi-Fi. 43 messages now. Jessica's latest Instagram showed her final dress fitting. Caption: "Some people are meant for greatness." Yes, I thought, looking at my Tech Vision badge. Some people are. Wednesday morning, I woke to 17 missed calls from Mom. Panicking, I called back immediately. "Thank God," she breathed. "I thought something happened to you." "I'm fine, Mom. I told you I was traveling." "Jessica says you're having some kind of breakdown. She says you made up this Hawaii story to avoid facing reality." I looked out at the Pacific Ocean from my suite's balcony. "I'm literally in Hawaii, Mom." "Honey," her voice was gentle, pitying. "It's okay to be hurt, but making up stories won't help." "I'm not making—" I stopped. What was the point? "I have to go. Work meeting." "Tara, please. Jessica says if you apologize, she might reconsider." I hung up. Facebook was worse. Aunt Margaret had posted, "Praying for our family during this difficult time." The comments were a masterclass in passive-aggressive concern. What happened? Is everyone okay? Some people handle rejection differently. Jessica had been busy too. Her post read, "When family disappoints you, you learn who truly supports your happiness. Grateful for those who understand success and ambition. 3 days." Our cousin Beth had messaged privately. "Jess told everyone you're having a crisis. Where are you really?" I sent her a photo of my view. She replied immediately. "What?" "Work trip. Can't say more. But Jessica said you're unemployed." Jessica says a lot of things. David knocked on my door at noon. "Ready for that important discussion?" I closed Facebook, where Jessica's friends were commenting heart emojis on her latest wedding planning post. "Marcus is so lucky. Power couple. Your family must be so proud." "Ready," I told David, grabbing my portfolio. "You won't need that," he said, smiling. "What we're discussing is much bigger than a freelance project." Guys, I know this might sound familiar to some of you, being made to feel less than by your own family. If you've ever been in a situation where you had to choose between your dignity and keeping the peace, drop a comment below. I read every single one. And please hit that like button if you want to hear what happened next in Hawaii. Trust me, it gets incredible. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the ending. Now let me tell you about the meeting that changed everything. The rooftop restaurant was empty except for us. David had reserved the entire space. Below, Waikiki Beach stretched endlessly, dotted with surfers who looked like toys from this height. Tara, David began, pouring green tea. Let me be direct. Your rebrand didn't just change our image, it saved our company. We were 3 months from bankruptcy, generic tech company number 1,000. Then you came along. I just made some logos. No. He pulled out an iPad showing charts. Our user acquisition increased 400%. Investor interest skyrocketed. 3 competitors tried to poach our new design team. They couldn't believe one person did it all. One person, while Jessica was telling people I played with fonts. We've been watching your other work too, David continued. The Morrison Group, Startup Flow, that brilliant campaign for Nexus Industries. You're not just a designer, Tara. You're a brand architect. Brand architect, not unemployed, not embarrassment. 6 of our board members flew here specifically to meet you. They've approved something unprecedented in our company's history. He paused, studying my face. But before I continue, I need to know, are you happy freelancing? Happy? I thought about my coffee shop office, my uncertain income, my family's disappointment. Then I thought about my freedom, my creativity, my clients who valued my work. I'm good at it, I said carefully. That's not what I asked. The truth came out unexpectedly. I'm tired of proving myself, tired of defending my choices, tired of being seen as less than because I don't have a corporate badge. David smiled. What if I told you that you could have both? The freedom you love and the recognition you deserve? Below us, a wedding party posed for photos on the beach. The bride's dress caught the wind perfectly. In 3 days, Jessica would have her perfect moment too. Without me. I'm listening, I said. David slid a folder across the table. The Tech Vision logo I'd designed gleamed on its cover in spot UV, a printing technique that cost a fortune. Inside, the first page made me forget how to breathe. Creative director, base salary, $180,000, stock options, full benefits, relocation package to San Francisco. David, keep reading. The next page outlined responsibilities. Lead a team of 12 designers, report directly to the C-suite, shape the visual future of a company valued at $200 million. I couldn't finish. Overdue, David said. We've been searching for someone with your vision for 2 years. We interviewed candidates from Apple, Google, Meta. None of them understood brand storytelling like you do. Apple, Google, Meta. And they wanted me? There's more. He flipped to the last page. We announce Monday. Press release to TechCrunch, Forbes, the whole circuit. Tech Vision appoints youngest creative director in company history. You'll be 30 by then? 28. Even better. He leaned back. I know this is fast. You have until Sunday to decide. But Tara, companies like ours don't just hire employees. We acquire talent. And your talent we can't afford to lose. Sunday. The day after Jessica's party. The timing felt cosmic. What about my freelance clients? Bring them as consulting projects. We'll pay you additional for those. Your creativity shouldn't be caged. It should be resourced. My phone buzzed. Jessica again. Mom says you're being stubborn. This is getting embarrassing for everyone. Just come home. Embarrassing. There was that word again. David noticed my expression. Family pressure? Something like that. Success is the best response to doubters, he said simply. So, what do you think? I looked at the contract. then at the ocean, then back at the man offering me everything Jessica thought I'd never have. Can I sleep on it? Of course. But Tara, don't sleep too long. Forbes is already sniffing around this story. Thursday and Friday blurred together in the best way. David had me shadow the current design team, and something magical happened. They actually listened to me. This gradient you suggested is genius, said Mark, the senior designer. How did you know it would render better on mobile? Because I'd been perfecting my craft in coffee shops for 5 years while my family thought I was playing around. But I just smiled and showed him the color theory behind it. During Friday's board presentation, I stood in front of 12 executives and explained my vision for TechVision's future. No nervousness, no apologies, just confidence in my work. Brilliant, said one board member afterward. Absolutely brilliant. Another pulled David aside. I overheard her say, "Whatever it takes, don't let her leave." That afternoon, something unexpected happened. Richard Wellington, yes, Wellington, joined our lunch meeting. Marcus's uncle, it turned out, sat on TechVision's advisory board. "You're the designer everyone's raving about?" He studied me carefully. "Cooper, any relation to the Smiths in Connecticut? My nephew Marcus is marrying a Jessica Smith tomorrow." My stomach dropped. "She's my sister." "Really?" His eyebrows rose. "She never mentioned having a designer in the family. Just yesterday, she was telling us about her successful relatives, lawyers, doctors." He paused. "Strange she'd leave out someone of your caliber." "Of my caliber." Marcus's own uncle said that. "We're not very close," I managed. "Pity. Marcus's mother loves supporting artists. She'd be thrilled to know about you." He handed me his card. "If you're ever in Connecticut, do reach out." That evening, the team took me to a farewell dinner. 12 people raising glasses to celebrate me. My phone showed 53 unread messages from home, but I didn't check them. Tomorrow was Jessica's big day, and I was exactly where I belonged. 3,000 miles away, being valued. Saturday morning in Hawaii was still Friday night in Connecticut, and Jessica's Instagram was in overdrive. I watched from my hotel bed, 5 hours behind, as her perfect life unfolded in real time. Final touches at the venue. Everything has to be perfect. Video of the Ritz-Carlton ballroom, crystal chandeliers reflecting off gold chargers. My amazing bridesmaids surprising me. 7 women in matching robes, none of them asking where I was. Our cousin Beth had messaged me privately. "Jess told everyone you're at a wellness retreat dealing with your issues. Your mom is going along with it." A wellness retreat. That was their story. "Is it true you're unemployed?" Beth continued. "Jess says you haven't worked in months." I sent her a photo of my Tech Vision badge and the view from the Four Seasons. "Does this look unemployed to you?" "OMG, what is happening?" "Can't say yet. NDA." "NDA? Tara, what?" I stopped responding. Let them wonder. Jessica's next post showed her rehearsing her speech. Tomorrow, surrounded by successful, ambitious people who understand what excellence means. The camera panned across the empty ballroom. My place card was nowhere to be seen. Then came the comments that stung. "Where's Tara?" from an old family friend. Jessica's response: "She's working through some personal issues. We're giving her space to figure out her life." Another friend: "That's so generous of you during your special time. Family first, always, even when they're struggling." Struggling, personal issues, figuring out my life. I closed Instagram and opened my laptop instead. The contract David had given me sat in my downloads folder. I read it again. Creative director, 6 figures, stock options. Tomorrow, while Jessica celebrated with people who understood excellence, I'd be deciding whether to accept a job that would change everything. The irony was almost too perfect. Saturday afternoon, Hawaii time. I sat on Lanikai Beach, toes in sand that felt like powder, watching families play in the waves. My laptop bag sat beside me, contract inside, deadline approaching. 6 months ago, I'd been exactly where Jessica said I was, struggling, uncertain, making logos in coffee shops. But that struggling had taught me something Jessica never learned: how to build value from nothing, how to transform brands with just creativity and Wi-Fi, how to succeed without a safety net. My phone rang. Mom. The party's in 2 hours, she said. It's not too late. You could fly back. I'm 3,000 miles away, Mom. Jessica might forgive you if you just apologize. Apologize for what? Silence. Then, for not being easier, for making her feel bad about her success, making her feel bad by existing, by being myself. I have to go, Mom. Tara, please, she's your only sister. And I'm hers. Has she once asked where I am, what I'm doing, if I'm okay? More silence. Enjoy the party, Mom. I hung up and opened the contract again. The salary alone would silence every doubt my family had ever expressed. The title would command respect from people like the Wellingtons. The Forbes announcement would reach everyone who'd ever dismissed me. But that wasn't why I was going to sign it. I was signing it because for 5 days, I'd been surrounded by people who saw my value immediately, who didn't need me to prove anything beyond what I'd already created, who called me brilliant without qualifying it with but. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades I'd only ever seen in Jessica's filtered photos. But this was real, unfiltered, mine. I pulled out a pen and signed my name, Tara Cooper, Creative Director. Tomorrow, everything would change. Sunday morning. While Connecticut was still sleeping off Jessica's party, I walked into Tech Vision's Hawaii office with my signed contract. David was already there with the legal team, the CFO, and surprisingly, a photographer. For the announcement, David explained, we want everything ready for tomorrow's launch. I handed over the contract. It felt heavier than paper should. Welcome officially to Tech Vision, Director Cooper. Director Cooper, not Jessica's unemployed sister, not the family disappointment. Director Cooper. We took photos, me with David, me with the executive team, me alone against the Tech Vision logo I'd designed. The photographer kept saying, "You're a natural." But I wasn't posing. I was just finally comfortable in my own skin. The press release goes out at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, David explained. Forbes, TechCrunch, Business Insider, they all have it embargoed until then. 9 a.m. Eastern. I did the math. That would be right when Jessica would be posting her party recap photos, expecting maximum engagement from everyone who'd attended. There's one more thing, David said, pulling me aside. Forbes wants to do a feature story, the designer who saved Tech Vision. They're particularly interested in your journey from freelancer to executive. The reporter mentioned something about challenging traditional career paths. Challenging traditional career paths. If only Forbes knew how much my family hated my non-traditional path. The legal team had me sign additional papers, NDAs for upcoming projects, stock option agreements, relocation documents. Each signature felt like drawing a line between my old life and my new one. Champagne? David offered as we finished. It's 10 in the morning. You just became the youngest creative director in our company's history. It's champagne o'clock. As we toasted, my phone buzzed with notifications from Jessica's party posts. I didn't look. Tomorrow she'd have her own notifications to deal with. Sunday evening in Hawaii, Saturday night's party aftermath in Connecticut. The team dinner at Nobu Honolulu felt like a dream. 14 Tech Vision executives toasting my arrival, while my phone lit up with videos from Jessica's engagement party. I finally watched one during a bathroom break. Jessica in her $8,000 dress, Marcus in his custom tux, surrounded by what she called Connecticut's finest. Her speech was exactly what I'd expected. Marcus and I are building something special, a life of excellence, surrounded by people who understand ambition, success, and standards. The camera panned across the crowd. The Wellingtons dominated one side, all pearl necklaces and Rolexes. Our family clustered on the other, trying to match their energy. Then Jessica's voice, wine-loosened and confident. Not everyone understands this lifestyle. Some people are content with less, but Marcus and I, we reach higher. Our cousin Beth had filmed it, adding her own commentary via text. She literally said you were finding yourself when Mrs. Wellington asked about you. I almost died. Back at dinner, David clinked his glass. Tomorrow changes everything. Tara, any words for your new team? I stood, steady despite the Mai Tai. 6 months ago, I was just a freelancer with a laptop and an idea. You all saw something in my work that even my own. I paused. That others didn't see. Tomorrow, we show the world what happens when talent meets opportunity. They erupted in applause, real applause, not the polite golf claps of Jessica's crowd. Richard Wellington approached me afterward. You know, my sister-in-law specifically asked about Jessica's designer sister at the party. Seems Jessica told her you were indisposed. Indisposed. Another euphemism for failure. Tomorrow's announcement should clear that up, I said simply. Indeed, he smiled. Indeed it will. Monday morning, 6 a.m. Hawaii time, 12 p.m. in Connecticut. Jessica's engagement party was starting in 2 hours, but her Instagram was already active. Getting ready with my glam squad. Today is everything. Mom texted me. I wish you were here. Jessica says you're at a retreat? I didn't correct her. In 3 hours, she'd know the truth. The Tech Vision team gathered in the conference room to watch the announcement go live. David had his laptop open to Forbes, TechCrunch loaded on another screen, Business Insider on a third. T-minus 60 minutes, someone said. My phone showed Jessica's latest story, her makeup artist applying the finishing touches while she practiced her surprised face for when Marcus would spontaneously give another speech about their love. Everything choreographed, everything perfect. Meanwhile, Richard Wellington had messaged me privately. My sister-in-law is quite insistent about meeting you. She's an art collector. I may have mentioned you'll be in Forbes today. Hope that's all right. Mrs. Wellington, Marcus's mother, wanted to meet me? The same woman Jessica had been desperate to impress for months? It's fine, I replied. At 11:45 a.m. Hawaii time, David's assistant entered. Final check. Are you ready for this? Once it's out, there's no going back. No going back. I thought about Jessica, probably doing final touch-ups in the bridal suite she'd rented at the Ritz. About Mom, fussing over flower arrangements. About all the relatives who'd sat silent when I was deemed not good enough. I'm ready. Good, because Forbes just messaged. They're leading with your story on their homepage. Homepage, not buried in the business section. Homepage. In 15 minutes, while Jessica was making her grand entrance to a room of 200, my face would be on Forbes's front page. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of humor. 1:50 p.m. Connecticut time. 10 minutes before Jessica's party officially started. The tech blogs were already teasing. Major announcement from Tech Vision coming in 10. Industry Insider says it's a game-changer hire. Someone check if Apple's design team is complete. I sat in the conference room, watching the countdown on David's screen while simultaneously tracking Jessica's Instagram. She'd just posted a video of the ballroom filling up. The Wellingtons occupied the best tables, naturally. My LinkedIn started pinging. People were already connecting dots. Wait, is that Tara Cooper from Connecticut? Didn't she design the Morrison Group rebrand? I heard Tech Vision paid 7 figures for their new creative. 7 figures was wrong, but the buzz was building exactly as David had predicted. Then, at 1:55 p.m., something unexpected. Marcus's sister posted on her story, "Why does the name Tara Cooper sound familiar?" Someone responded, "Isn't that Jessica's sister?" Jessica doesn't have a sister here. She does. The designer. Jess said she couldn't make it. The digital whispers were starting, but in the ballroom, they were probably just sitting down to their first course. Jessica would be glowing, Marcus would be charming, and everyone would be pretending my absence didn't matter. Richard Wellington texted again. My wife is showing her sister something on her phone. They look intrigued. 3 minutes until launch. David turned his laptop toward me. Last chance to back out. Why would I? I asked, genuinely puzzled. Some people don't like spotlight. Some families don't handle success well. I thought about Jessica's words. You don't deserve to be there. My family will handle it however they handle it, I said. But I've earned this. 2 minutes. Somewhere in Connecticut, champagne glasses were being raised. Here in Hawaii, fingers hovered over publish buttons. 1 minute. 30 seconds, David announced. The room was silent except for the hum of laptops. 14 executives watching 3 screens, waiting for my life to change at the click of a button. My phone showed one last message from Mom, sent just minutes ago. Jessica's about to give her speech. She wishes you were here, I think. She wishes I were there. I thought about the back entrance offer, the after 9 p.m. invitation, the suggestion that I arrive after the important people. 10 seconds, David said. I pulled up Jessica's Instagram one final time. Her latest post, from 60 seconds ago. Surrounded by excellence, embracing our future, grateful for those who truly support us. 5, 4, 3, 2. It's live, someone shouted. The Forbes headline filled the screen. Tech Vision appoints youngest creative director in company history, how Tara Cooper's solo designs saved a $200 company. My phone exploded, not buzzed, exploded. LinkedIn, 47 notifications in 10 seconds. Instagram, 89 follows in 30 seconds. Text messages, loading, loading, loading. Holy shit, someone said. Business Insider picked it up already. TechCrunch, too. Wait, look at this. Someone's sharing it on the Wellington Industries internal board. Wellington Industries, Marcus's father's company. David smiled at me. Ready to change your life? I looked at my phone. Jessica had just started her speech. I could see Beth's live stream. My sister stood at the microphone, glowing, unaware that several phones in her audience were lighting up with notifications about her unemployed, embarrassing, not good enough sister. My life changed the moment I signed, I said. This is just everyone else catching up. The first comment appeared under the Forbes article. Wait, Cooper? Is this Jessica Smith's sister from Connecticut? The storm was about to hit the Ritz-Carlton ballroom. Can you believe how quickly tables can turn? This is exactly why I never argue with people who underestimate me. Success is the best response. If you've ever had a similar moment where karma handled your business for you, please share in the comments. I love reading your stories of quiet victory. Also, what would you have done in my position? Would you have taken the high road or confronted Jessica at the party? Let me know below, and please give this video a thumbs up if you believe in letting success speak for itself. 2 Sharp, Connecticut. While my face filled Forbes' homepage 3,000 miles away, Jessica stood at the microphone in the Ritz-Carlton's grand ballroom, beginning the speech she'd practiced for weeks. Marcus and I want to thank you all for being here. Her voice rang through Beth's live stream. We've carefully chosen each of you because you represent the excellence we strive for in our lives. Carefully chosen. Each of you. The exclusion was intentional, even in her words. As we build our future together, Jessica continued, we're committed to surrounding ourselves with people who understand ambition, who appreciate success, who maintain certain standards. That's when the first phone buzzed, then another, then 5 more. In the live stream, I could see heads starting to bow towards screens. Mrs. Wellington, Marcus's mother, was fully focused on her phone, her eyebrows climbing higher with each second. Jessica, oblivious, continued. Not everyone understands this lifestyle. Some people are content with mediocrity. But everyone in this room, you're our kind of people, the ones who matter. More phones lit up. The Wellington table was actively passing a phone around now. Marcus's father had put on his reading glasses. Success, Jessica said, her voice swelling with pride, is about choices. Choosing quality over quantity, choosing substance over. Oh my God, someone said, loudly enough for the live stream to pick up. Is this real? Jessica paused, confused. I'm sorry? The whispers started like rain. First a few drops, then a downpour. Tara Cooper, Forbes, creative director, 200 million. Jessica's sister? Marcus's mother stood up, iPhone in hand, walking directly toward the microphone where Jessica stood frozen. The storm had made landfall. Mrs. Wellington reached Jessica just as the whispers became conversations. She held up her phone, the Forbes article clear on the screen. My professional headshot, the one taken yesterday, smiled back at the room. Jessica, Mrs. Wellington's voice carried without the microphone. Is this your sister? The ballroom fell silent. 200 people leaning forward, phones in hand. The same article spreading like wildfire through their social networks. Jessica looked at the phone, and I watched her face cycle through emotions via Beth's shaking livestream. Confusion, recognition, shock, and finally, horror. That's... Tech Vision appoints youngest creative director, Mr. Wellington read aloud from his own phone. It says here she single-handedly redesigned their brand, increased their valuation by 300%, and she's been freelancing for Fortune 500 companies? That's not... She doesn't... Jessica stammered. Marcus had moved beside her, reading over his mother's shoulder. His face was changing too, but his expression was different. Realization mixed with something else. Disappointment? It says she's been working with them for 6 months, Marcus said slowly. 6 months ago, you told us she was unemployed. The article was everywhere now. Every phone, every conversation. I could hear fragments through the live stream. Stock options worth... Turn down Google. The Morrison Group campaign was hers. Why would Jessica lie about this? Then Richard Wellington's voice cut through the chaos. I met her in Hawaii on Thursday. Brilliant woman. I asked why she wasn't here, and she said you weren't close. Jessica's carefully constructed moment was collapsing. The microphone stood abandoned, feedback starting to whine. The champagne tower remained untouched. And my sister stood in the center of it all, her $8,000 dress suddenly looking like expensive armor that couldn't protect her from the truth. The ballroom erupted, not in applause or celebration, but in the chaotic energy of 200 people discovering they'd been lied to. Jessica told me her sister was having a breakdown, one of her bridesmaids said, not quietly enough. She said she was at a wellness retreat, another added. No, she said unemployed and struggling, someone from Marcus's side corrected. Each revelation was another crack in Jessica's facade. She stood frozen as her carefully curated narrative unraveled in real time. Our mother had pushed through the crowd, her face pale. Jessica, what is this? What did you do? I didn't... She wasn't supposed to... Jessica's voice cracked. Marcus's father was reading deeper into the article now. Wait, it says here that Tech Vision tried to recruit her for 2 years, and she turned down multiple 6-figure offers to maintain her freelance freedom. He looked up sharply. You told us she couldn't hold a steady job. The Wellington family was clustering together now, their body language shifting from celebration to consultation. Marcus stood between them and Jessica, clearly torn. Then the killing blow. Mrs. Wellington's voice, clear and cutting. You told us she was an embarrassment to your family. This article says she's worked with 3 of our portfolio companies. Successfully. Beth's live stream was shaking. She was probably trying to film while hiding her own shock. The comments were pouring in. Is this real? Jessica lied about her own sister? Team Tara. This is insane. Our cousin Michael, who'd been silent during that family dinner, finally spoke up. We all knew Jessica. We all sat there while you humiliated her, and none of us said anything, but we knew. The truth wasn't just exposing Jessica. It was exposing everyone who'd been complicit in their silence. Mrs. Wellington's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Jessica, I need to understand something. Why did you lie about your sister? The room went silent again. 200 people waiting for an answer that could salvage this disaster. Jessica's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. It wasn't lying exactly. She's just a freelancer. She works from coffee shops. She doesn't have A real job? Mrs. Wellington held up her phone again. This says she just signed a contract worth more than most people in this room make, including you. The number wasn't in the article, but the implication hung heavy. You told us, Marcus's mother continued, each word deliberate, that your family was successful. Lawyers, doctors, executives. But you hid the most successful one. Why? Jessica's eyes darted around the room, looking for support, finding none. Even our mother had stepped back. Because she doesn't fit, Jessica finally exploded. She shows up to family events in jeans, she works weird hours, she doesn't care about appearances or networking or any of the things that matter. Things that matter? Richard Wellington had joined his sister-in-law. She just secured one of the most prestigious positions in tech, at 28, self-made. And you think that doesn't matter? She would have made me look. Jessica stopped, but everyone knew the end of that sentence. Lesser? Mrs. Wellington supplied. Ordinary? Is that what you were afraid of, Jessica? That your sister's genuine success would overshadow your borrowed importance? Borrowed importance. The phrase hit like a slap. Marcus finally spoke. You banned your own sister from our engagement party because you were jealous? The word hung in the air. Jealous. Not protective, not practical. Jealous. Jessica's perfect party had become her public trial. Marcus stepped away from Jessica, the physical distance speaking volumes. The entire room watched as he processed what his fiancée had done. You told me she was unstable, he said quietly, but the acoustics carried every word. You said she was going through something, that it would be kind to not invite her. Marcus, please. You made me complicit in your cruelty. His voice was rising now. My family could have had a relationship with her. My mother collects art. She would have loved to know your sister, but you painted her as a failure. She is a failure! Jessica screamed, desperation breaking through. She doesn't care about the right things. She doesn't network. She doesn't play the game. She just sits in her apartment making pictures, and somehow, she was crying now, mascara running in expensive streams. Somehow she succeeded anyway, Marcus finished. Without marrying into wealth, without pretending to be something she's not. The comparison was devastating. Everyone heard it. If you could do this to your own sister, Marcus continued, your own blood, out of petty jealousy, what else are you capable of? What else have you lied about? I didn't lie, You told 200 people she was unemployed while she was signing a contract that would make headlines. You banned her from celebrating with family because you couldn't stand her success. That's not just lying, Jessica. That's cruel. He pulled the engagement ring box from his pocket. Was he planning another romantic gesture? And set it on the abandoned microphone stand. I can't marry someone who would destroy their own sister out of insecurity. Success isn't about money or titles, Jessica. It's about character, and you've just shown yours. The sound of 200 people holding their breath was deafening. Marcus walked away. Not dramatically, not angrily. Just walked away, leaving Jessica alone at the microphone with 200 witnesses to her humiliation. The silence lasted exactly 3 seconds before the ballroom erupted. Oh my God, the wedding's off? On Instagram Live! Beth's stream was going viral in real time. The viewer count had jumped from dozens to hundreds to thousands. Comments flooded faster than anyone could read. Karma instant delivery. Team Tara watching from Seattle. Jessica got what she deserved. This is wild. Mrs. Wellington addressed the room with the authority of someone used to being obeyed. I think it's best if we end this event now. Thank you all for coming. But nobody moved. They were all on their phones, sharing, posting, discussing. The Forbes article about me, the live stream of Jessica's downfall, the intersection of both stories. Jessica stood frozen as people literally turned their backs on her to huddle in conversation groups. Her carefully selected guest list of people who mattered were now treating her like she didn't exist. Our mother finally approached her. "Jessica, honey, we should go." "This is her fault," Jessica whispered, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. If she had just stayed away, if she had just accepted her place. Her place? Aunt Margaret had found her voice. "Her place is on the cover of Forbes, apparently. Your place is standing alone in a rented ballroom in a dress you can't afford anymore." The cruelty of truth delivered by family hit different. Jessica flinched as if slapped. One by one, the guests began leaving. No goodbyes, no consolation. Just the soft rustle of expensive fabric and the constant ping of notifications as my story spread and Jessica's story ended. My phone became unusable. The notifications were coming so fast that the screen just showed a blur of numbers climbing. Missed calls, 847 text messages, 1,244. Instagram, 10K plus new followers. LinkedIn, 500 plus connection requests. I had to turn it off completely just to think. David laughed. "Welcome to viral fame. The article has been shared 20,000 times in the last hour." 20,000? Your sister's party livestream is trending on TikTok. Someone clipped the moment Marcus walked away. 3 million views and climbing. 3 million people had watched my sister's life implode. The same sister who thought I'd embarrass her in front of 200. I turned my phone back on just long enough to check the family group chat. It was chaos. Mom. "Tara, call me now." Dad. "What is happening? Is this real?" Aunt Margaret. "I'm so sorry we didn't speak up." Cousin Michael. "You're a legend." Uncle Tony. "Can you get me a job at Tech Vision?" And from Jessica, sent to me privately. "I hope you're happy. You've ruined everything. My wedding, my reputation, my life, all because you couldn't just accept that some people are meant for bigger things." Still, even now, she still didn't get it. More private messages flooded in. Beth. "Jessica is having a complete meltdown. Marcus's family left immediately. His mom said something about dodging a bullet." Mom. "Please call me. Jessica is hysterical. She says you planned this." An unknown number that I recognized as Mrs. Wellington. "Tara, I would very much like to speak with you about a potential collaboration with our foundation. Your sister greatly misrepresented you." The world was reshaping itself around the truth, and Jessica was still blaming me for her lies. I finally called Mom back at 6 p.m. Hawaii time, midnight in Connecticut. She answered on the first ring. "Tara, thank God. Are you really? Is this all real?" "Yes, Mom. I'm Tech Vision's new creative director." "But Jessica said you were unemployed." She said, "I know what she said. I was there when she said it, remember? When she banned me from the party? When none of you defended me?" Silence. Then, "We didn't know, honey. We thought—" "You thought she was right. That I was a failure playing with computers in coffee shops." "Tara," her voice broke. "I'm so sorry. We should have— I should have stood up for you." "How's Jessica?" "She's not well." Marcus officially called off the engagement, posted something about character reveals. The Wellingtons are apparently telling everyone they had concerns about her honesty from the beginning. Of course they were, rewriting history to save face. "She wants to talk to you," Mom continued. "She says you orchestrated this to humiliate her." "Mom, I was in Hawaii doing my job. I didn't even know the announcement would coincide with her party. I certainly didn't make her lie about me for months." "Years," Mom corrected quietly. "She's been telling people you were struggling for years." Years. While I was building my portfolio, landing clients, creating value, she was painting me as the family failure. "I don't want to talk to her right now," I said. "Maybe someday, but not now." "She's your sister." "Yes, and I was hers when she decided I wasn't good enough. I wish her well, Mom, I really do. but I'm done trying to earn approval from people who were determined to withhold it. Will you come home? I'm moving to San Francisco. That's my home now. 1 week later, I was back in Connecticut packing my apartment. The story had evolved from viral moment to cautionary tale. The engagement party heard round the internet, one blog called it. Jessica had gone dark on social media. Her Instagram, once updated hourly, showed nothing since the party. But the internet had screenshots of everything. Her posts about surrounding herself with excellence, her comments about some people settling for less, her careful curation of a life that collapsed in minutes. She finally texted me, "Can we talk, please?" We met at a Starbucks, ironic considering how much she'd mocked my coffee shop offices. She looked smaller somehow, designer bag and all. "I'm sorry," she started. I was so scared. Of what? Of you. Of what you represented. You never cared about the things I killed myself caring about. Status, appearances, the right connections. And you were succeeding anyway. It made everything I'd done feel pointless. It wasn't pointless. It was just different. Marcus's mother sent me a message, she said quietly. She said I'd confused climbing with achieving, that you achieved while I just climbed. The Wellington wisdom, delivered too late. I've been in therapy, Jessica continued. The therapist says I have deep insecurity about my worth, that I tried to create worth through external validation instead of internal value. That's good, Jess. That's growth. I lost everything because I was so afraid of being overshadowed. The irony is, by trying to hide your light, I ended up in complete darkness. She was crying now quietly, without drama, real tears, not performed ones. I don't expect forgiveness, she said. I just wanted you to know that I finally understand. Success isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than yourself. That's a start, I said. And it was. I want us to rebuild, Jessica said, hope creeping into her voice. Start over. Be real sisters this time. I stirred my coffee, a simple latte, nothing fancy, and chose my words carefully. I want that too, eventually. But not yet. Trust takes time to rebuild, and respect takes even longer. I understand. Do you? Because understanding means accepting that I won't be at your next event just because you invite me. It means I'll share my successes on my timeline, not yours. It means our relationship will have boundaries. She nodded, subdued. My therapist said you might say that I need to earn back the relationship, not expect it. Your therapist sounds smart. She also said I should ask, what do you need from me? I thought about it. Honesty, not just with me, but with yourself. Stop performing life and start living it. And stop measuring your worth against others, including me. I'm trying. I got a new job, on my own merit, not through Marcus's connections. It's smaller, less prestigious, but it's real. That's good, Jess, really. We sat in comfortable silence for the first time in years. No competition, no comparison, just two sisters finding their way back to neutral ground. For what it's worth, she said as we prepared to leave, you're incredible. Not just the job or the Forbes thing. The way you handled everything with such dignity. I would have destroyed me if I were you. Destroying you would have destroyed part of me too, I said. Success isn't revenge, Jess. It's just success. She hugged me, tentatively, like she wasn't sure she was allowed. I hugged back, briefly but genuinely. Maybe coffee again in 6 months? She asked. Maybe, I said. We'll see. As I walked to my car, ready to drive to San Francisco and my new life, I realized something. Dignity in silence really is louder than any argument. Sometimes the best revenge is no revenge at all, just a plane ticket to your dreams. Thank you so much for watching my story. Remember, you never have to prove your worth to people who refuse to see it. Your success will find its own way to the light. If this resonated with you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I share stories like this every week about setting boundaries and finding your worth. Check out my playlist on dealing with toxic family dynamics. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is no revenge at all, just a plane ticket to your dreams. See you in the next video. You in.